You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for The League. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip about The League. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for The League.
What's up?
What's up?
Hello, folks. This is John Barrett.
And Phil Svitek.
Coming to you from Studio B on Burbank in Encino, California.
Damn right.
How's life out there, listeners? Good? Good. Glad to hear it.
And I hope your guys' fantasy is going well.
Yeah, I hope
fantasy leagues.
Yeah, I hope you guys drafted better than everyone on the league did. Because, man, auto draft, that sucks.
First off, John, have you ever seen the league before?
I actually have not. This was my first experience with the league.
Mine too, and I know I got you into it because someone told me, hey, it's a funny show, and, you know, it being a sitcom, I didn't feel it was necessary to have to catch up.
Yeah.
And so I said the same to you, and I think that holds true.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was missing anything about the characters. Not to say that the characters are, like, one-dimensional or anything, but, like, you sort of pick up, the relationships are clear enough right away, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't have any trouble getting into it, that's for sure. I'm also, I mean, I don't do fantasy football, but I do fantasy baseball, so I'm a little bit in this world. I understand this world.
I was once in a fantasy league, and it just did not go well.
Football?
It was, yeah, it was football.
When was it?
I think it was 3 years ago.
Whose defense did you have?
I don't even know. I didn't even know how it worked. And right from the draft, I was just like, oh, my team sucks. I'm over this.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I used to do? I used to do fantasy soccer leagues. You know, like the English Premier League and all that.
How does that work? What kind of stats did you have to follow?
Goals, assists, clean sheets, things like that.
Okay.
So I mean, there's any sport you can name, I'm sure there's a fantasy league.
Yeah, that's true. There's fantasy hockey, which I can't even begin to fathom. But anyway, in tonight's episode of The League, we start off, I guess, where last season ended, in that Nick Kroll's character, Ruxin, is the victor of last season.
The Shiva Bowl.
Yeah, and he is being a total prick about it.
By the way, it was quite interesting. For me, I didn't know how to compare it to other season premieres of this show. At first, I thought it was a little strange. I was like, okay, what is this show? What am I getting into? Because right on the kind of computer screen, it just seemed slightly cheesy.
Right.
But it definitely won me over within the next few minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like a classic football reference. You know, the Super Bowl Shuffle from 1985, the 85 Bears. If you're not sports history nerd,
I'm not.
That's not going to really resonate with you. I mean, that's like, I feel like this is a show designed for people slightly older than us who probably grew up a little,
I'll tell you, you know, I definitely want to speak to this more in kind of the special segment, but I'll intersperse bits of it throughout. The Jeff Schaffer, who writes for the show and directed this episode, he writes for Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
He's one of the head writers, and so it's kind of that Curb audience, I feel.
So people who are late 30s or about 15 years older than us.
Yeah, and old enough to kind of get the irony, or not I guess kind of get the irony because I mean you look at this and you kind of see your life. You know,
Right.
your dreams didn't get accomplished the way you wanted them to go, and so all you have kind of left in this world is the joy of fantasy football leagues and the passion that you put into that.
So this is people who were probably in their...
I was at 30s. I think at 30 you kind of just hit that point where you're like, well, you know what? I mean, I'm no longer young. I can still switch careers and things like that. But at this point, it's very hard to say, oh, I want to be an actor. Or whatever it is you wanted to have done.
Mhm.
It's starting to get a little bit too late.
Right, so people who were 7 or 8 in 1985 is basically what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, okay.
So people who grew up with the Super Bowl Shuffle 85 Bears
I'm glad you know that.
is what I'm getting at. But anyway, where was I going with that?
I have no
I
idea.
forget.
You were just saying.
I was just explaining that joke to you. That's right. That's what was up.
Okay. Joke explained.
So here's a funny thing. The concept of the wife training the husband,
Mm-hmm.
not that ridiculous to me.
I've seen it before, and that's not to say it's unoriginal.
No. I like
And
it.
I like
but-
the originality with which these guys approached it.
For sure, for true.
And I didn't quite get that, actually. Maybe I looked down or something as I was taking notes, but it wasn't until his friend brought it up, hey, I knew when they were doing the lottery picks that something was up when she scratched his ear, but I did not know from the scene when they're in the kitchen.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I didn't pick it up either. But it made sense to me when they sort of made that observation.
The
I
pen
also-
clicking, is that a good strategy?
I mean, it's like the sort of Pavlovian response thing,
Mhm.
I feel like I tried that on Graybo once, at one point.
Graybo being our college
My
friend.
former, yeah. Did we both? Yeah, we both roomed with him. No, you never. Oh, yeah. You were roommates.
I roomed with him, yeah.
So we were both roommates with him at one point in college. I've lived around the corner from the guy since I was 6. And I think you probably tried to train him somehow.
I think I trained him. If the way to train anyone is to treat him like a dog, I think I certainly did that because I gave him a common enemy with a cat.
That's true.
So I had him trained pretty well by the end.
I tried the high-motizing him method, insofar as he got high a lot.
Ah, well, there you go.
But I like that concept of training their mutual friend.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a friend in every friend group that is that guy. Like, oh, you're training him too? Awesome.
And that's what really made the show for me is they really know this kind of world of the fantasy football league.
Yeah.
And yes.
And groups of idiot friends.
Yes. I mean, honest to God, I think, we're hinting at it now, but you could replace any of these characters with us,
Yeah.
At least
I mean,
so.
it'd be reasonably similar.
Yeah.
Because we're both idiots.
We are. The things we've done in our lives.
Yeah. Real grade A idiots.
And the asshole, you always have that asshole in the one group who's like the winner.
Mhm.
And you're just like, get the hell out of here, guy.
Yeah.
No one actually likes you. Do you realize no one likes you?
And of course, that's the guy who wins the fantasy league the year before. I also love all the bizarre punishments they keep coming up with for Andre, the gentleman who lost
Yeah.
the year prior. Because that's definitely how. I mean, the fantasy baseball league I'm in is made up of my cousin and his friends.
Mhm.
We're all back east, so we don't have this like punish the loser thing. But if I were in a fantasy league with my friends out here, it would definitely be a punish the loser league.
Well, you know what's interesting? There's like literally, for guys at least, there's kind of something like, let's say, I forget how it was explained to me, but if there's it can't just be like a winner.
Mhm.
There needs to be a loser.
Right.
So, and there's just something within guys that just needs that satisfaction.
Of picking on someone who is lower than you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so this is the perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, very much in tune. I heard again. This is something that I'm actually stealing from somebody else. So I'll try to find the clip of where I got this because obviously they can articulate it way better than me. So I'll get back to you on that, folks.
And I love the ultimate punishment of finding some greasy porno dudes to make a porno in their friend's basement or apartment, studio, loft. I forget what kind of apartment it was. Anyway, I also love the introduction of Jason Masson, blah 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 blah. I forget what his actual name is.
Seth Rogen?
Not Seth Rogen, the other gentleman. When he comes down and guess who's day drunk? Get ready to see my dick.
Yes.
That's a great way to introduce yourself. I frequently introduce myself that way.
This is yes. Okay, hold on. Let me look at that.
What are you looking up?
I'm trying to IMDb this as we go.
That gentleman.
Meanwhile, John
he also plays Dennis Feinstein on Parks and Recreation.
What was his character name?
I forget. So you should probably look up Jason Feinstein from Parks and Recreation.
All right, I will look up Jason Parks and Recreation. All right, you keep going on. The listeners don't need me play-by-play of the. Yeah.
What?
I'm saying they don't need a play-by-play of me looking up on IMDb.
Or is it Kevin Feinstein? It's something Feinstein.
Okay.
I forget. Just look up Perfume Guy, Parks and Recreation. Dennis Feinstein. Sorry.
All right. Okay, Dennis. No results for Parks and Recreation for Dennis.
Dennis Feinstein.
Dennis spelled how?
How did you spell it?
Like Dennis the Menace spelling.
Denn?
Yes.
Then try with one N. Also, Feinstein.
Okay, we have a Denise.
Okay, that's not... No, there's a Dennis Feinstein. Whatever. I'll pull out my phone and look it up and beat you.
All right, well, anyway, obviously build into this this premiere with Seth Rogen and...
Seth Rogen.
You know what? I'm not...
Porno directing ways.
Here's my thoughts on Seth Rogen. I don't think he's a great leading man.
No.
I've never liked him when he's, done his thing because he always kind of comes off as a stoner loser, and that's his persona, and no matter what he does. And I don't like it. I like it as an ancillary character, but not as the main. And in tonight's episode, I liked him a lot, especially what they gave him to work with.
Yeah, I like that character. I like Dirty Randy. I like Dirty Randy as a name of a librarian/porno guy.
And I like his story of claim to fame.
He's a homeless man. What was it? He was a homeless man?
He was a homeless man to a librarian, or homeless man to a prostitute or something like that, to a porno PA, to a director.
No,
something like that.
A location scout. Porno location scout to director.
That's right. And for those of you who don't know what a porno location scout does, check out Piranha 3D.
Is there a porno location scout in Piranha 3D?
The 17-year-old, that's kind of the premise. The 17-year-old kid gets recruited because he's I forget what the name is given to him, but it's basically like a Joe Francis type character who gives him the job of, scouting locations for his porn or Girls Gone Wild shoot, if you will. So, great movie, by the way.
I heard it's really, really awesome.
It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think you're going to be... Are you finding this thing on IMDb?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Done and done.
Well, what do we got?
Jason Mantzoukas. Jason Mantzoukas.
There you go. You heard it first.
There it is.
We know.
Although he is not yet credited for his appearance on this show. Oh, yes, he is. Never mind.
Speaking of, just as a side thing, like IMDb is kind of weird. For those of you who don't know, it's like the ultimate kind of resume in the film business, but at the same time, the way it's upkept is so poorly done.
It's almost like Wikipedia.
Don't compare it to Wikipedia.
Well, that you can update it yourself.
Yeah, but but it never like actually works.
Mm.
I literally there's like for my name there's 4 Phil Svitek's, and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, hey, it's all me. It's the same credit. Can we just consolidate it to one?
Oh, I got all of my stuff consolidated to one.
Yeah, they suck at that. But anyway, I don't want to bore you guys.
There's like 5,000 John Barretts, so I go by John Dugan Barrett on the IMDb's.
There you go. Check Don Dugan Barrett out. Now,
That's right. You can see all 3 of my credits.
John, how important is it fully? Because when I did fantasy soccer,
Mm-hmm.
I forget how it worked, but you kind of just got to pick. You know what I mean? You picked whoever you really wanted, I think. And you had here's how it worked. You had a certain amount of buy-in credits.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like each player was worth like points. And so you were capped off at, let's say, 500, right? And the
Right.
better players, they cost a lot more than the worst players. And so you would have to create a team of 11 based off of your cap number.
Mm-hmm.
So for you and your experience,
That's not how I had a snake league, snake draft,
okay,
which means that you just had a list of players you could choose from, and then it would go. Everyone had to pick 1 through 10. So it would go 1 through 10, then it would go 10 through 1, then 1 through 10 again.
now
Yeah.
what's more fun? I mean, I guess the reason why the league that I was in worked the way it did was because it was all international. It was fans that didn't know each other. You know, it wasn't like you and me and whoever. It was, you could join the league from anywhere. So I could be going up a Japanese kid, a kid from England, a kid from Kuwait, Guam, Brazil, Argentina, whatever it may be. And so that made it more exciting. And so obviously, everyone's going to want to pick in the soccer world the equivalent of, let's say, like a Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I don't know who you guys' favorite is. But, and that made it kind of fun, because it was people you didn't know that you were going up against.
Well, I mean, for me having played mostly fantasy baseball, it's not like in fantasy football, you make your team and then 2 teams go against each other, so the stats are compared, and then it's like a wins, losses at the end of the season. The league I was in was a rotisserie league, 5x5, which meant that at the end of the season, it was just your total stats were compared, not each game you would get a win or a loss.
Yeah.
So, because then there's like no point in having pitchers or whatever, because what's the point if it's just all offensive stats? And that's fantasy baseball works a lot differently than fantasy football, or I guess fantasy soccer.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, all these kind of cultures.
Yeah. Well, fantasy football, one of the biggest difference between fantasy football and like fantasy baseball, for instance, is that defensive stats count in football, but in most leagues, you just choose one team's whole defense, or 2 teams' whole defense, and you start one or the other, and then you pick like entirely piecemeal offenses.
Yeah.
Which is different. Like baseball, because fantasy baseball is based mostly on offensive stats, you don't do that.
I mean, soccer was kind of the same way, where it was, obviously goals were worth a lot, but anytime, the team got a clean sheet, it still counted. So, you still had to pick a defensive line or whatever. But you obviously, you tried to spend your sort of cap number towards the offensive players, and for defense, it was just like, oh, whatever. So, nonetheless, definitely, I mean, they certainly captured reality in the sense that the draft lottery is important, and certainly the lottery day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The importance of a draft day is impossible to undervalue.
It is.
I remember my draft day. Like half of the people in my league opted to do auto draft.
Did they?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it was like at a weird time. It was like 9 p.m. Eastern time. Like I got in with seconds to spare to go and do my draft, because I was doing stuff that day. But I picked every pick. Like I didn't auto pick anything. Because a little bit more risky in baseball.
Auto pick.
Yeah, letting the auto draft work, because then what happens is until you've like completely filled a certain slot in your roster.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, in baseball, in my league in baseball, you had a slot for a first baseman, a second baseman, a third baseman, shortstop, then first base, third base, like one first base, third base player, one shortstop, second base player, you know, like one corner infielder, one middle infielder, a catcher, 5 outfielders, 3 bench players, and then a 9 pitcher rotation, including, you know, whatever amount of starters and relief pitchers you wanted. And so what would happen is it would just automatically pick the highest ranked player for whichever one of those places you need filled.
All right.
Which is a really bad move, because that's based purely on stats, like as opposed to injury stuff and like likelihood of getting traded and how much playing time they're actually gonna see. You know.
Right on. I get it. So for me, I really liked how obviously this episode just escalated to a climax.
Yeah, they really like upping the stakes. They were really good at that.
Yeah.
Especially Climax. There's a porno.
Yes. We're big on puns.
I love that they made a porno called Schindler's List, and that was in black and white, which was controversial. But his defense of it was the cum was so white and the cocks were so black.
That's just a great description.
Oh, that was so great.
And better yet, I loved how they knew Sands of Passion.
Yeah.
And that's what made him really kind of do this. And
the idea that their buddy is the guy from SEAL Team 6 who killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, just really great characterizations.
Yeah,
you know?
Really great, weird, horrible choices.
And I mean, the Sands of Persia actor, like the character within the actual show, Sands of Persia. Oh my God. I'm a rapping cowboy.
I'm an American rapper / cowboy / cautionary tale. Oh man.
Yeah, quite good.
Yeah, real.
And they certainly captured the porno aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never shot a porno.
I don't either, but
I love that they have a donkey slave PA, hot chick, and then Dr. Andre No Dick.
Yes, indeed. Who's home from long day's work of shitty surgery, or what did he say?
He's like, it's been a long day of being of shitty doctoring.
Yeah. Oh my God. Very funny.
You can fill my slots, I think is what she said.
Yes.
That was such a gross looking porn.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, that's a good point. I just love them sitting at Video Village. Also, they had 2 monitors up. I don't know if you noticed this. They had 2 monitors up. One camera.
Maybe they have one on tripod.
Probably. You know what? You're right.
You know, we're kind of high grade.
Yeah. And I like that Rafi was being a good script supervisor right there and telling Seth Rogen what coverage he needed of this.
Yeah, just the generic. Oh, you need a master shot.
You need a reverse master. You need a reverse master and a close up of his butthole.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's what you need in a porno. Reverse master, butthole shot.
That's right.
And that's really all the coverage you need. Just a master, a reverse master, butthole.
I mean, I feel like you can get really creative if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm, not to put too many cards on the table, but I feel like porno directors really love going for close-ups that they don't need to go for.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
And I will say this. It's a pet peeve of mine when that happens, when you're like too close up and you're like, you know what? I'm trying to imagine that I'm humping a woman.
Right.
And this
right.
here
I don't need to see some dude's balls slapping.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, let me put myself in his position, if you will.
Right. I'd like to see as little of this man as possible.
That's right.
You know?
So that's...
Where are your heads at, porno directors?
That's more than you really needed to know. But hey.
You're all welcome. The audience thought that one was really funny.
Yes.
Also, I love that Porno Crafty is the best crafty.
Why? Because he was eating a Cheeto?
He was eating a carrot, and then he said, Porno Crafty's the best.
Oh, I thought he was, what are those things? The Puff Jacks or whatever?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it was a carrot.
Okay, alright. Well, I guess carrots are good.
Yeah. Better than the crafty I'm used to.
Which is?
Which is like a thing of red vines and shitty Costco like donuts.
No, that's cool too.
And horrible, horrible, horrible coffee that I drink 5 cups of a day.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you say we go to a commercial?
Let's go to commercial.
Alright, let's do that.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean. You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig! The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
All right, welcome. So, John, do you know why I got you into this show?
Because it's awesome.
It is quite awesome. It is. And here's the very kind of cool part, how I got into the show before I even knew that it was a cool show. It was, it's shot by our friends, or at least mine, Jeff and Jackie Schaefer. Mm-hmm. Two, obviously they're a couple. Very cool people. And they pretty much do it themselves.
Well, that's awesome.
And you know what? If we watched it on the big screen here, and you know, the look of it is very kind of video, but shot. They get great coverage, I believe.
Yeah.
And I just like how they keep it. I mean, pretty much literally, Jeff and Jackie write all the episodes, and he's the head writer for Curb Your Enthusiasm, as well as he writes for a lot of the Borat movies, or like Sacha Cohen Baron.
Right.
And I forget what other thing he's involved with, but he's just like, I mean, you know, you want to talk about a true writer. He is a true writer. And for those of you who didn't catch the credits, he directed this episode, and I'm pretty sure he directs most of them. And you know, she kind of is the more producer side of things. And so I was just really inspired by that, and a lot of the kind of jokes and the way, you know, what helps them writing wise is obviously these guys are all improv, and so they help write the scripts too.
Yeah, that's what, and I heard that Paul Schaefer and Nick Kroll write some of the episodes every once in a while too.
I'm sure. Like, I mean, you know, I'm sure Seth Rogen, when he came in for his role, he added a lot to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of more where everyone just kind of outlines what the episode will be, and they just fill it with their own dialogue, because these characters know how they would react to certain situations.
Right.
So,
these characters feel very, very natural and very.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it feels like a bunch of people who are in a fantasy league with each other.
Exactly.
You know, it feels very, very, very real.
It does. And so, you know, the great news is it is, you know, it's a true inspiration story of how it's you and your friends just really making a TV show. You know, so I definitely like that because it's very inspirational. And there's other shows that kind of do it, like Louis, you know, he directs, writes, and edits his own shows.
Yeah.
John Benjamin has a van. That's another show. Pretty much done in the same way of Louis. But I like this one because it goes broader than those two shows. So.
Truth.
Truth.
Respect.
That's right. And so in that there, friends of AfterBuzz TV, we do want to get them here to speak about it, and they're in full support of us doing this.
Terrific.
And you know what? It might be fun to get some fantasy football leaguers as well.
Yeah, I should talk to my peeps.
Talk to your peeps.
I know plenty of fantasy football people.
That's right. We should get some of those. But John, you ready for some predictions?
I am.
All right.
Let's do that. Let's cue the
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
John, what is that instrument?
It's called a theremin.
And where does one buy a theremin?
I'm not really sure. Probably like the electronics section of
the John Lovitz
Sam
Comedy
Ash
Club
or something. Oh, maybe you buy one at the John Lovitz Comedy Club.
Well,
this Sunday, Breaking Bad season finale. There.
Yes. So if you're in the LA area, AfterBuzz TV is doing a live viewing party, and then hosting the Breaking Bad after show live from the John Lovitz Comedy Club.
Go.
The cast and actually a lot of the crew will be there, and we're hoping to invite some celebrities who watch Breaking Bad. So we definitely have the cast of the show there. We're working on some big celebrities to try to get there. And regardless, it'll be a fun night. And the point is, you may not be a Breaking Bad fan, but come support AfterBuzz, and that'll really put us on the map. And then, we'll do more of those. And who knows? We should do the league from the John Lovitz Comedy Club.
Yeah. Do it.
John, you are just terrible with the mic.
Sorry, I hate these mics. I hate these face mics. These Burger King headsets.
You know what?
As we call them in the business.
All right, I saw Contagion. What?
Contagion?
Yeah, that's it. And there's a statistic that people touch their face 3,000 times a day. I feel like you have a problem, and that is why you keep touching that damn mic.
I'm itchy right now. I don't know what's up with it.
I don't even know where you're itchy. So here's the questions I want answered from you. Obviously, everyone kind of got shitty picks. How are we going to get out of that, if at all? And two, where was I going with this? Oh, is it going to come out that they cheated on the lottery draft, and now with the draft being effed up, does it really matter?
It's definitely going to come out that they were lying. That's my prediction. It's not going to matter because they all got crappy picks, and I think Andre's going to win.
Okay, that's the David Cross character, correct?
You mean Paul Scheer, and yes.
Yes. And I only said David Cross character because that's what they reference him as.
Do they?
Yeah, in the show they reference him. Who's that David Cross guy?
I didn't pick that up.
So I thought it was very funny for those of you who know David Cross. But yeah, all right. Anything apart from what I just prompted you to predict?
I think we're gonna see a greater level of success in the hypnotizing training.
All right.
Your predictions?
My prediction is, I think it'll come out too that the fact that they lied, and I'm really curious to see where it goes now that they've all got shitty picks.
Yeah.
How do you keep that interesting?
That's true. Also, how is the show gonna follow this? Are they, as they write it, following this season?
League?
Yeah.
I think to a degree they might.
Or does it not really play a role?
I'm sure it does. I mean, like tonight's episode where they might have not had a league, so they obviously kind of spoke to it. But who knows?
True.
So
anyway, guys, that's all the time we have here tonight.
Or at least that's all the time we're gonna give you.
Yeah, that's all the time. We have plenty of time, but we're just make them want more, right?
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. So, on behalf of
Phil Svitek,
that's Phil Svitek right there, and myself, John Barrett,
and the JohnLovitzComedyClub.com, where you can buy your tickets for the event this Sunday.
Buy them now, because they're gonna sell out, because this is gonna be a baller ass show.
That's right. And nonetheless,
So we're signing off. But next week we'll be back talking about the league.
You don't have a witty outro? You always have a witty outro.
Yeah, I say the same thing every time. Catch us on the same bat time, same bat channel.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
I feel like these guys have a fantasy football league and we have a fantasy podcast.
Hell yeah.
There you go. That's a better outro for next time.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.